So I'm just going to introduce my guest for tonight. Hi, I'm Tyler. I'm here to talk to an American Ninja Warrior, possibly Spider-Man, and my brother in Christ. Please welcome Tyler Gillett. Hey!
Hey man, how's it going?
Going good, going good. How are you?
Good, man. Good to finally see you face to face, and excited to talk, man.
I'm excited too. I've been watching some of your videos today just to
Heck yeah, awesome.
kind of catch up. I was just watching your studio one, setting up your studio.
Yeah, that's just one of the other many things I'm trying to do. I mean, with YouTube and stuff, obviously trying to do ninja-based stuff, but I've got some other ideas and plans as well, not just ninja stuff. So
Backflipping on water. That was pretty good.
yeah, that was fun. That was a good one. That was tough. That was tough.
So we are here to talk about ninja, faith, everything between, anything you want to talk about. I've put a pinned comment there. Follow Tyler's channel. He's got some really great videos on there that you should see, and sub to mine too, because I could use some more subs.
Yeah.
Great, you know. It's just a growing channel, but yeah, I just started doing this a few months ago, and I've spoken to some amazing people so far. I've been most excited for this one because I absolutely love American Ninja Warrior. It's like one of my favorite shows. I discovered it a couple of years ago when I was sick, and I needed something to watch, and I think I binge watched something like 8 seasons before the 9th in just about 4 or 5 months. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I got hooked right from the beginning. So we're going to talk about ninja to start off with. So I was trying to find ninjas do their submissions, by video and what have you. I was trying to find one for season 9, but there isn't one. And I found a video after that of you saying that it'll never see the light of day.
Yep.
Is it just like really cringy or something like that?
So no, it's not actually that. So I'm running into a lot of issues with posting my submission videos. So the way that, if you want me to kind of ramble on a little bit about kind of how the submission process works, I can do that too.
Yes. Yeah. So
yeah.
I was ask, like, what is the process of applying? Like, and I've seen various different pictures of people posting, like, you submit your application, but what is the actual process through that to? Is it waiting to get a call then after that?
Yeah, so basically we have to go online and submit a video and also fill out like a questionnaire kind of thing, like a lot of forms, and kind of they ask a lot of questions as far as like, about you, kind of what you're capable of, and also kind of your story and kind of what you stand for, and anything interesting that's happened that they can, talk about on TV as well. The video part is a couple minutes long. It's supposed to be like a 3-minute long video where you show some of your capabilities as far as training, as well as talk a little bit about yourself and some of your interests and kind of what you're about. So a big problem with, well, and I want to share those with everybody because I think they're very entertaining. I think that people that want to submit for American Ninja Warrior, it's nice to see, people that have been on and kind of what their videos look like, because that's one of the most stressful parts for us is you submit and then you wait a couple months and you wait for a call, and if you don't get on and you just never get a call, then you just never hear anything, which is, kind of disheartening. But so it's very tough. That's a very tough time because you do everything that you can. You just have to wait. The reason, and like I said, I want to share them. The reason that I'm not going to be able to share as many of them as I had hoped is because some of the music that I actually used for the background of it, of like the training montages and stuff, are copyrighted music. So I can't post it on YouTube or it'll get taken down. My first season was season 9, and that was my first year. So I want to post it, but I don't know if there's copyrighted music in that one, but there's also some things that I talked about in that submission video. And again, that was my first year applying and being on the show. But there's some things I talked about in that video that are close to my heart that I thought I was ready to share, and I realized that I'm not.
Right.
because at the end of the day, it's a TV show, and then they want to share, you know, part of your personal life, which is good. And it's nice that you can speak to people in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
But I always tell people when they submit to the show, like, don't say anything that you're not comfortable with, because once it's out there, they can use it however they want. And, you know, you have to be ready to share what you want to share. And some people will do anything that they can to get on the show. And sometimes it comes back and, you know, bites them in the butt later. So
I just wanted to show that I'm repping for Ninja.
oh yeah, Jake Murray. Heck yeah. Man, he's such a nice guy. I don't even have one of his shirts. I need to get one of his shirts, but
yeah, it's on. I think him and Ethan Swanson have set up a site together, so they're selling like both of their stuff at the same time.
yes.
I guess they're roommates, so that it's easier to coordinate that.
Yep. And I think Jake was the first person that jumped on. If you actually go on the site now, my shirts are also on there as well. So I'm now the third person on that site.
Right, great, because I'm looking for a black Dream Chaser shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can now get my shirts on that site. I'm actually going to make a post probably either tonight or tomorrow about that, like, my shirts are for sale and you can get them at the site and all that kind of stuff. So
brilliant. So you're like a proper Ninja super fan. Like, I'm guessing like when you sent off that application for season 9, you were just wanting it so bad. So
oh yeah.
So when you got that, I saw the video of when you got that call. It just looked like pure, like the build up of all those years. Because you were 21 when you did your first season. So I think you were waiting since you were 14 to apply. So a long 7 years. So just describe that moment when you got that call. Did you think like, I'm being punked here, or like, you know, or you know, what did you think? You know.
Okay, so that's actually an interesting little story that I'll share. So the way that kind of happened was at the time, so now you have to be 19 years old to be on the show, but it used to be 21.
Yeah.
So I had to wait till I was 21. That was the first year I could actually apply. Yeah, it was a long waiting period for me. I'd been watching it for a long time, and when I submitted, the first words in my first submission video were just me like trying to call. I just turned the camera on. I'm like, oh my goodness, I've been waiting long to make this video. Like, that's what I said in the video, to just show my pure excitement. I think they like that. So so the story of the phone call, when I got the call after I submitted to be on the show, I was hanging out with a bunch of ninjas, and I got a phone call from the ninja producers, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this might be it. This might be. And so I was like freaking out. So I answer it, and they're like, hey, we hear that you're out of town hanging out with some other ninjas, and we're trying to get a hold of Jessica Clayton, who's another one of my ninja friends that I train with. And they're like, we want to have her on the show, but we want to surprise her, and we heard that you're with her. Would you be willing to film her, the reaction when we call her? Just like send us a text whenever you're in a place that you're with her and that you're ready. And I was like, yeah, I can do that. And I was excited for her, but I was like, the first words like, hey, this is, you know, so-and-so from American Ninja Warrior. I was like, this is it. And they're like, no, we want this other person. And I was like, no. But I was really happy for my friend. And so I was like, yeah, sure, I'll film that. So I did that. They called her. I had my phone ready, and I filmed her reaction. And then apparently after they said, yeah, we want you on American Ninja Warrior, obviously I can't hear because the phone's up to her ear. And they're like, all right, we also want Tyler on, and we want to surprise him as well. So if you could just do the same thing when you hang up, just record him, and we're going to give him a call. So I get a call from them, and I didn't expect it to be getting on the show, just kind of a thank you and where to send the video. So they call me back and like, yeah, thanks so much for filming that for us. If you'll just, you know, email us the video. Oh yeah, and by the way, we want you to be on the show this year as well. That's another reason why I was so like just taken aback. I was like, wait, because it was crazy the way that they like got me with that one. That was so out of left field, and like they completely like double duped me on that one. So that's the whole story of that, which I think is kind of funny that not many people know about. So
that was good. That was good.
Yeah,
that's funny. So what was how long did you have to wait then until the show started? I mean, what did they actually tell you at that point about what was going to happen next?
So we got our call in February, and we competed in about a month. You get the call about a month out. Depending on where you live, there's 6 different regions where you can compete. And the Southeast region, which is where I live, is usually like the second region. So every couple of weeks, you'll get your call, and then it's usually about a month away from when you compete. So like I will have competed, and then some people won't even get a call to know if they're even going to be competing yet or not, because, you know, it spans for a few months, and like the next region may have not even gotten their calls to compete yet. So it's a long process.
It'll be quite. So then when you first stepped on, because you hadn't been to any of the shows before, had you? Like sat in the audience or anything like that?
Yeah.
So you didn't have that feeling of being in that environment. So when you first stepped onto the course, what were your thoughts and your emotions like at that time? Like actually being there, achieving this, or being on the show?
It's really hard to explain. I don't know if like I'm very lucky, because at the end of the day, they get to choose if you can be on the show or not. Sure, I put in the work. I'm not going to say I didn't work for it, but I'm also, you know, I am lucky that I was interesting enough for them to choose me. But if you've ever worked really hard for something and then just waited on something that seems like a dream and seems like so far out there, and then all of a sudden you're just there in that moment, is something that's really hard to explain. But it was, like you said, so they film, you know, every year, and actually a couple of years prior they had filmed in Atlanta, which is where I live, and I didn't know they were filming there. So I had never actually even been just in the audience to watch, which is kind of mind-blowing, since I've, you know, been such a big fan of the show and I never had sat in and watched. But I kind of liked that better, because that way my first year experience was like, it felt more surreal and like just more, I had a lot more gratitude for the situation, because like it seemed so, I don't know, it seemed like I had fully achieved what I set out to do. And if I had gone to see any of these other shows before, I would have gotten more accustomed to that setting. And so I think it was just more exciting. It was harder to calm the nerves down for sure, but it was definitely more exciting. So yeah, I don't know. And like you said, I stepping up on that starting platform when I waited so long, all I'm like thinking in my head is like, don't screw this up. Do not fall on the first obstacle. You've waited so long. Don't screw up your shot and then never get invited back again. That was running through my head. So really, I just prayed, and I was like, God, I've been training for this. You know, I've wanted this. And if this is what you want me to do, like help me to just take everything that I have trained for and learned and put it on the course. And I get so tunnel vision. So once I start, I don't notice the audience. I don't notice anything. It's just me and the obstacle. So it was just taking it one at a time. And I've had a lot of practice being in front of crowds as well. So that definitely helps.
And then when you're standing there ready to start, like, you know, in your start position, what is it? Does it just, the adrenaline sort of kick in, like, and you just kind of go?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said. So the scariest part every year for me, and it never fails, is stepping up to that starting platform. And just that sense of pressure of like all these things running through your head, like anything could go wrong. You miss one foot placement or one hand grab and it's over for the whole year. So it's so nerve-wracking. But as long as you can get past that one point, the second that buzzer kind of goes off and they tell you to go and you can start running the course, the second my foot hits that first obstacle, that's pretty much all gone. I mean, it's there a little bit, but I'm, like I said, I'm tunnel vision. I'm focused. So it's just getting through those 30 seconds of sheer terror and nerves of stepping up onto the starting platform. And it gets easier every year, you know, a little bit, but it's still.
Yeah. So just a note to the people that are watching, a few people sort of trickling in. If you've got any questions, just pop them in the box. So you got, I think you got the third fastest time in the qualifiers, which for a rookie is pretty amazing. You were ahead of ninjas like Stratus, which, you know, and he's like one of the best sort of you know, ninjas out there. And you handle, I mean, the wing nuts that is obviously designed by your friend. I think it was designed by Carbone, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Carbone, right? That always scares me, because I just remember loads of ninjas when it was first brought out, loads of ninjas just falling off, and you handled that like a pro. You did well on Rolling Thunder. Flew up the wall, and then we saw that emotion.
Crying.
Yeah, crying. Yeah, there's nothing to be ashamed of. Nothing.
I'm not.
We just like, I did it. You know, was that what it was like?
Yeah, so breaking down the course, like you said, all those obstacles, for me, since I was newer, I'd never done this before, every single obstacle was new. So there were some that were harder than others, and some that were really, really new that were taking out people like the wing nuts, which was something brand new. No one's ever seen anything like it. But to me, everything was new. So I just made sure to
Yeah.
take one obstacle at a time and not overthink it, which I think is how I ended up in third place, because the next year I actually tried to kind of slow down, um, and do a little, I tried to slow down and kind of conserve my energy and kind of think through the obstacles, and I did worse. I still qualified for finals and everything, which is good, but I didn't do as good as my first year. And I realized I need to trust myself and not overthink things,
Mm-hmm.
and put in the training and know that it's going to pay off. And so that's what I did the first year, because that's all I
Yeah.
could do. Like, that's where my experience was with, training for as long as I had. And then, yeah,
You
getting
were,
to that wall was
yeah.
just, I didn't have any words. As you could see from that whole video, all I could think was like, I've waited 7 years for this, and it happened. Like, it just didn't seem real, and it didn't seem real for quite a while
Yeah.
afterwards. It took a while to
Being interviewed by Christine at the end, it took you a minute to get a
yeah.
sentence together to like fully express what that sort of meant to you.
Oh, yeah.
But you had so you created your own obstacle course, before at home. Did you create any similar obstacles to what there are on the course?
Yeah, that definitely helped. In my backyard, any extra wood that I could find, I put up and made some very not so safe obstacles, but they worked.
Yeah.
So I put up a cliffhanger, like some just 2x4 pieces of wood, nailed those to some trees. So I had a cliffhanger, I had a salmon ladder,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to think of what else I had. I did build a warped wall, so that definitely helped. So yeah, some basic ones like that. I probably had like 5 or 6 obstacles. And after a while, a storm came through and kind of got rid of all of them. Some trees fell down, pretty much just destroyed the rest of whatever I had up.
Yeah. So you got to the city finals. I think you placed third, failed on the circuit board, and then you get to stage one, and you finish that. You get to stage two, and I think you failed on the wave runner. I thought you had that, but I guess sometimes mistakes. Yeah, it looked. I'm not trying to rub it in. That was like.
Oh no,
you know what I mean.
No,
so.
No, I like the honesty. I appreciate it. I agree. I thought I had it too. It was one of those things. I was on the obstacle, and I just was going to take one more backswing and then launch and like dismount it. So I was ready to get off of it, and I didn't feel super tired, but on that last backswing, I just remember feeling one hand just completely drop off. And as I'm falling, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, what happened? Like, what happened? I don't know what happened. I wasn't tired. But the wave runner is so finicky. It's, you have to keep it balanced. You have to evenly distribute your weight. And I think on that last backswing, I was so focused on hitting the landing platform that when I went to pull through and pull forward, I just put too much pressure on one side, and so it flipped. I just lost focus. That was really it. It was a mental thing. I didn't keep in mind the obstacle and what I had to do to make sure it didn't, flip on me. So mental thing, but it happens.
Yeah, I mean, I still consider that a success. Stage two, it's different doing. I mean, I see. I don't know because I've never done anything ninja before. I'm not fit enough to do that. I'd probably fall on the steps, right at the start,
Right.
those little pad things. But I think it was. I'd say it was a success. I mean, you got to stage two. I mean, that not a lot of people do that, and it's a different kind of pressure, I guess, when you have that large audience, all the noise, and I guess it's just a difference there. But after that, I loved all the spin-off shows that they were doing. I think they were on a lot of them on the USA Network. But you got to do the Ninja versus Ninja competition.
Yeah.
With your friends. It's Kevin Carbone and Bree
Yeah.
Widener. Sorry, it's not even a difficult name to say. Sorry, Bree. So you qualified for the playoffs, but you were beaten by the Lab Rats. I mean, those are some pretty heavy hitting ninjas that you face. Like Michelle Warnke is a legend. So both of the Wilczewski brothers. I saw your video before then. You were waiting to get your hair cut. That just made me laugh. I don't know why I found that so funny. So you had to go to the competition with your big hair.
You gotta look nice, when you're gonna be on TV. And if you like, right now, I just got my haircut like a week ago, so it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty clean. But man, if you watch that whole season of Ninja versus Ninja, it's like It's crazy.
It was big. It was big.
It's a personal thing. You know how it is. Just try to clean up nice.
No, this is lockdown here. We are in another national lockdown in the UK. No barbers are open. So I had to flatten my hair because then it just goes wild.
I feel that.
I feel your pain. I feel your pain. So you get to, then come season 10. Did you change anything in your training in light of what had happened? I mean, as I said, because I think it was a success, but did you change anything in between the 9th and 10th season in terms of the competitions that you did and the training that you did?
So Ninja versus Ninja actually happened in between the other seasons. So it was right after season 9, which happens in the beginning of the year throughout like the summer, and then Ninja versus Ninja happened in the end of fall and winter, that kind of area. So it was kind of nonstop, which was nice, and it was a lot of fun. And I like Ninja versus Ninja a lot. I really wish they would bring it back.
Yeah.
A lot of people. I'm kind of getting off on a tangent here, but I will answer your question.
Go.
A lot of people I've talked to, it depends on who you talk to, but I've talked to a handful that don't like Ninja versus Ninja because they don't like the competitiveness, or they like Ninja because of people supporting each other and rooting each other on. But which kind of confused me because I agree with that. That's why I like Ninja so much, is the community around it. But Ninja versus Ninja, like, no one was malicious towards each other. It felt like, to me, the way Ninja vs. Ninja felt, and everyone else I spoke to has felt the same way, is that Ninja vs. Ninja was like when you're walking down the street as a kid with your best friend, and you go, "Hey, I bet you I could beat you to that mailbox," and then you both just start take off running to see who can. Like, it's a race amongst friends, and whoever wins, you're happy for them, but you want to push your limits with the people that you train with. Like, it's just fun. So that's how we treated it, and it was a lot of fun. And then going into the next season of American Ninja Warrior, I think the biggest thing I changed was just trying to train more consistently. Now that I knew that I was of age to be on the show, I wanted to make sure I kept up my strength, got stronger. And I think the biggest thing was mental training. So just doing as many small competitions as I could, putting pressure on myself when I train, like timing myself and running courses in the gym whenever I train. That way I have that mental pressure. So when I'm competing on the course, I'm used to it. You know, I'm used to the time limits. I'm used to the people. I'm used to all that kind of mental pressure. I think that was the biggest change that I made.
Yeah. So going back to what you were saying about Ninja versus Ninja, I appreciated the sportsmanship between the teams. You can still see that even though you're competing against each other, there was still that sportsmanship, and I think that was a good example of sportsmanship for kids to see. So imagine a lot of younger people, I guess like you were when you were 14, will be watching the show. So I think that was a good example of sportsmanship to show people. So you could still see that community spirit within that. I don't think it was competitive. You weren't in the sense that, you know, no starey daggers or no bitching, you know, in the side interviews and things like that. So I think it should be brought back for sure.
Yeah, when both teams got to the top of the wall and hit the buzzer, whoever won, you never saw the other person like screaming and getting upset. They would usually go to the other person, hug them, or like raise up, be like, "Look at this guy, he crushed it." Like, what it is, at the end of the day, for us as athletes, we're like, in this the same way with the regular show and also Ninja versus Ninja. Like, if you move on and somebody else doesn't, that has nothing to do with the other person. That's on you. It's like, you have to train harder if you want to do better. And if you've done better than I have, then you deserve to move on. I don't deserve to move on. If you made it farther than me, you deserve to move on. Like, that's it. That's it. That's end of story. I can't get upset at you that I didn't train hard enough. That's dumb. So that's kind of how I treat Ninja, which I really like. That way you can be supportive of each other and just try to better yourself and train with people that are better than you, because it's just going to make you better.
So I saw your season 10 submission video. See, playing on spying on Stratus, and I thought that was quite funny.
That's so fun.
To be honest, I'm a big guy, but if I saw Ryan Stratus running towards me, I'd be running in the other direction. I know it's obviously all for play, but yeah, he's a scary guy. He's probably a gentle giant. He's probably nice as pie kind of thing.
So nice. He was one of the first like big name ninjas that I met, since he lives in the area and worked at the gym that I started training at when I started being on the show. so nice. And I was like, hey, I have this idea for this skit that I want to do at the beginning of my video. And he just thought it was hilarious. So I was like, let's do it. And it was a good time. He's such a nice dude.
Did you oh, and we got introduced to Ninja Mum. I saw in one of your videos, your mum.
Oh yeah. She's crushing it. She's still trained, sometimes more than I do. Like if I need a break, sometimes she's still going to the gym. She's crazy. I get a lot of my athleticism from her. She runs marathons. She's run many marathons and stuff like that, and obstacle course races.
So hopefully one day you'll get that mega wall too.
Do what?
Hopefully one day you'll get that mega wall too.
Yeah, I want to so bad. The problem is I don't have a mega wall to train at my gym, so I have to go to another gym like out of state. Like I gotta drive for like multiple hours just to go train on one. And if I haven't trained on one, it's hard to get to the show and then commit to it because like I just hate to risk, either getting a fast time, because I do really like going for speed. I enjoy going fast, and I got to completely risk that and possibly even risk hitting a buzzer if I go for the mega wall and miss. So I just need more training on it to feel more comfortable on it. But one day, I think it'll happen.
One day, yeah. But just believe. If you believe in it, it'll have happened eventually, won't it? So
Gotta get there.
But yeah, so you finished the city finals. So I think you were in 14th position. Failed on the Iron Maiden. Again, I thought you had it, but I guess things can happen in the heat of competition.
It was another mistake. Yep. But
Do you think it's like a combination of wanting to get it done quickly, or maybe just having a brain in England? Well, in some parts of England, we call it a brain fart. When you don't.
Oh yeah.
And it just
Oh yeah.
Is it a combo of that? Do you think?
I think it definitely can be a combo. It depends on, like you said, it depends on so many factors. So I was definitely starting to feel it. Like I was tired, so I wanted to get through it quicker. So I think this one was a mix. I was trying to go down. So if you watch that obstacle back, I went down one side to go quicker. It's less moves. And then when I was going down the final part, I was too tired. I was like, I'm not going to be able to make those big moves. I'm going to go down each side. And I think if I go slowly, I'll have enough energy to make it. But when I went to go down on the left side, my brain was used to the big skipping moves. So I went down one side, but completely skipped the peg and went even further. So I basically made it harder for myself. And my muscles were like, dude, you don't have the strength to make that big of a move right now. So I didn't even mean to skip that. I just did. It was just kind of an instinct. Yeah, I think my brain was trying to get it done a little too quickly. And it was like, take your time, slow down.
I'll say hey to Miles. He's my brother in Christ. We go to the same church together. He's just
What's up, man?
Popped in.
I saw another question. I'm sorry. I'm like scrolling through the questions or the chat. I think someone a while ago asked, Titanium Ninja asked, what do I do to get through an obstacle that I'm afraid of? Like that I have a fear of? Repetition. If you can replicate the obstacle to your best ability, is just doing it over and over out of competition. If you can't replicate the obstacle, I think it's a mixture of just training the skills. So if it's like balance, do whatever you can to train your balance or get stronger, upper body, if that's what it is. And then it's the mental training, because you're scared of it in your mind. Like that's all in your mind. You have to get used to performing on a big stage in front of people. And like I kind of touched on that before, it's whenever you're training, add a little bit more pressure, whether it's, timing your course runs or having somebody else that helps train you and like says like, okay, like I'm going to train with you with this and I'm going to keep you accountable, and every obstacle that you fail, you now have to do 25 push-ups or something like that. Something that adds a little more weight to it to kind of get you that pressure kind of building in your head. That's what I would say. Yeah. But anyway, sorry.
No, fine. Talk as much as you want. I don't mind. I don't mind at all. So you got to stage 2. Unfortunately, it didn't work out on Deja Vu. I think it was you fell before you could hook the first bar onto the second cradle. Mm-hmm. But then after that competition, you got to go into All Stars, and were you thinking like, I'm an All Star now? I'm not a rookie anymore. Were you like, hey, I'm bad, you know? Do you know what I mean?
No, so it was another moment of like sheer just like joy and bliss, like of being on the show for the first year, just because I wanted to so bad, and I wanted to make a name for myself. at the same time, like now that I got on the show, I was like, well, I want to make a name for myself, prove that I belong here. And that was just kind of some validation for that. Once I got accepted to be on one of the all-star teams, I was like, this is just mind blowing. And then my first thought is right after that, my adrenaline calmed down, was I need to make sure that I still live up to the reason that they put me on this team. Like, I can't just be, oh, cool, I made it, and then just kind of go out there and just kind of do whatever. Like, to me, every year is always like, prove that you belong here kind of thing, which is, I think it's good and bad. I think I need to make sure that I'm happy with my accomplishments and trust in my abilities and not worry about what other people say. But at the same time, it does push me to be better. So just having a healthy relationship with that, I think.
Yeah. And you had a pretty great team. You had the kid Awadi and Barkley Stockett on your team.
Yeah.
And you guys got to stage 2. I always, when I see the ninjas on Cliffhanger, the grip strength, and oh wow, like it just, I'm not sure if I could do it, but you might. How do you train for the grip strength, on an obstacle like that?
It's doing. So I train at a ninja gym and they have a cliffhanger. So to me, it's repetition with that. But there's a few ways to do it, and you can get those. Have you ever seen those like vice grips that have like resistance and you like squeeze? Yeah. It builds. So that builds your hand and finger strength. Those are pretty cheap. You can get those online or even at like a sporting goods store for $15 or something like that. Or you create your own cliffhangers. Like I'll hang from like door frames and stuff, like those little, and try to do pull-ups on that or just dead hang on that. So it's a lot of repetition with just finger strength stuff.
You've got vertical limit though at your, what did you call it? Is it vertical limit? That's
yeah.
Train at. And also that looks even crazier. Can you imagine somebody seeing that and creating an obstacle based around that to go on Ninja Warrior? Or is that, you're kind of thinking that might happen one day?
Well, so that obstacle actually comes from the Japanese version of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which is they have that obstacle on that show. And so I'm afraid when things keep getting harder and harder for us here, people keep getting stronger, they're going to add it to it. So that's why I'm trying to train it now, because it's crazy. And if you guys watching don't know what a vertical limit is, it's like a cliffhanger, but it's like a fourth of the size. So if you thought a cliffhanger was small, a cliffhanger is like that big, and then you put your fingers on it and go across. But a vertical limit's like that big, and you grab it from behind. So it's just a little bit of a ledge. It's really tough. It's the hardest obstacle that I've ever done, and it's, I think, one of the only obstacles in my gym that I just can't do. I'm getting better. I'm getting close, but I still haven't completed it yet.
You can't do it yet. Yeah,
Not
that's
yet.
right.
I know I'm going to do it. I just can't. I haven't been able to do it yet. Oh.
On my side.
But
did you like the poster that I had made for you?
I love it. It's such like a derpy, so like funny face that I have on like my thumbnail. I love it. I think it's great. I'm all about it.
The font you can download because you dressed as Spider-Man.
Yeah,
that's a special Spider-Man font that you can download for Word.
Yeah, so, yeah. It's like the one from the movie poster or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I love it. Love the details.
So then comes season 11. You finished first with an amazing fast time. Like I wasn't expecting it to be that fast because you just don't know. You just don't know. It could be like 1 minute. But I was thinking like that's normally like a Jake Murray kind of time, So
I'm honored to be compared to that speed demon.
Yeah, so you did that very fast, and you also finished third in the city finals. So then you're back to the national finals again for the third year running, which was amazing. And you did your best this time, getting to stage 3, which was really great. And then comes Cane Lane, which is a hard one. It's like
Yeah.
What do you think happened there? I mean, I think maybe you tried to go a bit too fast.
So I guess I'll start by breaking down kind of what you said through the season. So this was my best season to date. I'd say so far, but
Yeah.
to date, because I've had one season past that and I didn't do quite as well. But that season was definitely my best. If you go back to my first and second season, they were repeat seasons, which was really frustrating because I fell in the same place every course. I completed the qualifiers in both seasons. I fell on the second to last obstacle in city finals, and I fell on the third obstacle of stage 2. So it's like a year had passed, and I'm like, man, what's going on? Like, am I getting anywhere? Like, it almost was harder than doing worse, because if I had done worse, I knew I was physically stronger, but if I had done worse, it's usually like a mental mistake or something like that. So it's like, okay, well, I probably could have at least gone further, but like, since I did exactly the same and just didn't progress, I was like, what am I doing? Like, what's wrong? What's going on? But I didn't let it get me down. And that's the thing, is like, I try to tell people all the time, like, pick yourself up and keep going. And that's the biggest thing the sport has taught me to do. Because if I just quit there because, like, well, I didn't do any better, I might as well stop now. I would not have done as well as I did next year. So turn it into fuel, and I trained harder. Got, like you said, the fast time qualifiers, third fastest in city finals, and then made it to stage 3 of the national finals. And that was the first year that I really felt like I can do this. Like, I was like, I know the whole reason that I want to do the show is not just to be on, but I want to beat it. Like, that's the ultimate goal, is I want to beat it. And this was the first year that I went in saying, I think I am strong enough mentally, physically. I think I have what it takes to get through everything. And then I got to the second to last obstacle of stage 3. And I don't think it was necessarily me going too fast. What I think happened was I just hadn't really done any cane obstacles much before. So I just didn't really know what it felt like. So when I went to hop over that first like block, because you slide it down and then you have to make a couple hopping moves to get it over those little barriers.
Yeah.
I took it off and I didn't push it in far enough to get it to stick. So I just completely missed. And I think that's just I think it was just the problem of not having done the obstacle enough, or something at least similar enough. Like, I hadn't done anything like that. So that's why I try to do as many different obstacles now as I can, and as many weird moves as I can, because you never know what they're going to put on the course.
Yeah.
And like, I wasn't fully pumped either. Like, I still had a little bit of energy left that I felt like I could get through the rest of it, but it doesn't matter. Like I said, a simple, one simple move and it's over.
So you move on, and then this past year's Ninja looked completely different. I think a lot of people were worried that it wouldn't go ahead at all. I
didn't think it would.
No, because I remember seeing news reports of the qualifiers are cancelled. You know, so we just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, they got everybody out to the first city of qualifiers, and the night they were supposed to run, they had done interviews and everything, and then they were supposed to run, and they're like, we have to cancel everything, and they just had to send everybody home. So, yeah. Got
it. But is it 50 athletes? But you got to bring a couple of your friends.
Yeah.
You obviously got Nate Hansen and Ryan Lashoff, I'd never seen Nate Hansen before. I don't know if he's been on the show before, but
none of them had that on. They were both rookies.
Yeah, he killed it. He killed it, and thought Ryan Lashoff, he got to slingshot. He did super well too.
Yeah.
You finished third. At 1:45, and you looked, to be honest, you look knackered. I don't know if you know what that means.
Tired, exhausted.
Yeah,
I was.
So I'm bringing out lots of English slang here today.
But I love it. Give me, like, inform me, teach me all these. I need to know them.
Yeah. There's loads more. So you look pretty tired after the qualifier. You talked to you. I think I saw a video as well just before the semi-finals that you'd have done with your sort of like rundown, and you look pretty knackered. And I think you slept a lot, didn't you, that night?
12 hours after
that. That's crazy. So do you think you didn't have it physically that year? Were you not well trained enough because of? I think you might have mentioned it, because of the COVID situation with gyms being closed and So I don't know what it's been like there for you guys. I mean, we've had gyms open, gyms closed. Gyms trying to stay open and then getting fined. Defying the government guidance because there's virtually no transmission through the gyms.
Right.
So what was it like in terms of the gyms being open, closed? But you also had your little garden course as well.
Well, no, at that point I actually hadn't.
Hadn't?
No, because I took down a couple obstacles because I was going to rebuild some of them, and then a storm came through and knocked down some trees, and it basically took out all the rest of the obstacles that I had. Wow. So instead of investing a bunch more money to build it again, I just decided I'll just train at the ninja gyms. So sadly, I didn't have that anymore. I could have used it at that point, but similar things. Gyms have been opening and closing and all that kind of stuff. And for a while, they were closed, especially at the beginning of COVID and stuff, which was when they were kind of ramping up for the new season. I was not in the physical shape to do Ninja Warrior. Like, I was so happy that I had the opportunity to do it, and I wasn't going to say no. So I definitely went out there and did my best and did what I consider pretty well for the state that I was in. But I was probably the weakest. I was weaker than the past few years for sure. One of the weakest I've ever been running a course. I think that I may have possibly gotten COVID towards the beginning of it. That's the reason I hadn't been working out, not just because the gyms had closed, but for about 2 to 2.5 months, I couldn't do any working out because every time I tried to work out, I'd have like shortness of breath and I just like couldn't breathe. Right. And some chest pains as well. And just like my breath, just anytime I did anything active, like even like 2 push-ups, it's like, nope, you're done. You can't breathe. So I was like, okay, fine. I won't. That's fine. So luckily, if it was COVID, I'm not sure, but if it was, it wasn't that bad for me. So I'm very lucky that it wasn't. I'm very glad that it was just chill out and you'll be fine. And that's basically what happened. I just kind of took it easy, but it lasted for like 2 months. So it was like 2 months of not training. So not only not getting stronger, but getting weaker. And then I had maybe a month of training before I had to be at the show. And so I wasn't even close to where I had been before that. So that's the reason that I was so physically exhausted after those runs.
But you made it to the semifinals.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be something to be proud of and thankful for, despite you physically not being in it. Because I know of people who have long COVID and some of them are still suffering 10 months later from it. So yeah, I'd say mixture of your own grit and God pulling you through too. Right?
Oh, sure. Especially so the qualifiers, I was definitely tired. The semifinals, when I got through that course, that's when I was like just doubled over, completely exhausted. The most exhausted I've ever been in my entire life. I felt like death. I was like, this is horrible. My head hurt so bad. It was the worst headache I ever had. I felt like I was going to pass out. And that lasted for like 20 minutes. And I was like, this is terrible. But like, I got through the course and actually hit the buzzer. So I was like, it was such a hard course that when I got done, I was like, there was no reason I should have been able to finish that. Like, I'm not strong enough to finish that course. That was an example of like God pulling me through that course. That was tough. It was tough, but I would consider it probably my proudest moment of A&W because I pushed myself farther to my limits than I ever have before, but mainly because I was able to go out there and represent my cousin Bill, who had pancreatic cancer, and kind of spread awareness to that. So that in that way, it was a very, very powerful run for me, regardless of what anybody else says. So
whenever I watch you guys do your runs, I'm always sort of like there going,
yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like just
especially on that run.
Kind of,
and then close calls on that run. Like I almost slipped off a couple times. It made it very interesting.
Yeah.
Kept it.
The one that scares me the most is I think it's dungeon when you get to the end and there's the plexiglass, like I'm just like, please don't do a face plant. I've seen people almost do it before, like please don't smack your face into that glass.
And I almost did.
Yeah, you almost did, but you kind of got your arm in one side, didn't you?
So when I threw to grab the bars and then put my feet against the plexiglass, I couldn't open. So okay. The obstacle before that, the corkscrews that like spin around, I got off that obstacle and I couldn't open and close my hands. Like that's how exhausted my hands were. Like my grip was done. Like they just got locked up. So after like waiting about 30, you get 30 seconds rest between obstacles. I don't know if you know that because they don't make that clear on the show. But there's a guy off to the side who kind of guides you through the obstacles and makes sure that you're doing them how they're intended. And he will tell you that you have to go or you get disqualified. Because, again, it's an obstacle show, but if, you know, it's going to be a lot harder if I go through and have 10 seconds of rest compared to somebody if you go through and you sit there for 60 seconds. So they have to cap it at some point because at some point then it's not a course. It's just one obstacle, take an hour break, do another obstacle. So you get 30 seconds of rest between each obstacle. I took all the 30 seconds that I needed. And I got a little bit of feeling into my fingers. I could bend them. But by the time I got down to the end of that board and had to make that catch, it was the same thing. Like, I was like, I know if I let go of this, I'm not going to be able to grab onto anything. So I just put my arms through to use just my forearm strength because I wouldn't have been able to hold on with my hands. Like, I think one of them I tried and it slipped, and so I put my arm in it.
Yeah. That corkscrew is nuts. Like, I can't remember who invented that, but, it's crazy. And it's got I looked in both semi-final stages, both semi-finals. One it had a 47 and a 49% fail rate, and that's just crazy.
It was brutal. It was a lot of fun. One of the most fun obstacles I've been on, but it was brutal.
But it looked it's like the wrists and the lower body when the bottom half kind of swings around, and I'm just like, how do you hang on? Like, how do you do that?
Like, you have to grab it, and just everything in your body has to be tight. Like your arms, your hands, your core, your abs, your legs. Because if you don't, it'll just ragdoll and it'll like throw you.
Bree Energy Ninja asked, "Have you tried the 100-second official test?"
I don't know what that is. So
I don't know what it is either.
Let me know what that is, and maybe I'll try it. But I don't know what that is.
But yeah, I enjoy watching some of your videos. I'll be up throughout the day just to get more of a picture of who you are. I've been watching a lot of these. Just some of the fun ones, like going all the way downstairs to put a cookie in a microwave. I was like, who does that? But it actually sounds like a nice idea because I've actually had hot cookie dough from Domino's before, and it tastes great.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just got done running the course. Like, I'm going to treat myself. So.
It said, I meant the hang challenge. 100-second
the 100-second hang challenge. So that just like, oh, I know what he's talking about. Okay, so this is a huge thing on YouTube. And if I find one of these, I'll make a YouTube video about it because a bunch of these videos are blowing up. So
yeah.
One of the first videos that somebody did was one of my friends, Lucas Gomez, who is a ninja.
Yeah.
And there are these 100-second hang challenge that you see at like different public events like fairs and sometimes like on the beach at places and stuff, and it's basically a bar, but the bar is on a bearing so it spins freely, and then you have to hang from it for 100 seconds, which is a lot harder than a bar that doesn't spin because it wants like all your weight will pull you off like slowly, so you have to have really, really tight grip strength, and it's really hard. And if you hang for 100 seconds you win $100. That's how yeah, if you find the like they're usually, like I said, at fairs and places like that. So I've seen a bunch of people trying them, and they're apparently really tough. No, I have not tried one because I haven't found one near me, but if I do, I will do it. I will try it.
So in the finals, you got to spring forward right at the end. So I'm like probably giving you like
please. No, it's hilarious. My friends, like, they rag on me all the time. I laugh because it's like, yeah, I made it to spring forward. It's not like it was hard to make it there. It was the second obstacle. It's
hey, I'm just talking. I'm not trying to rag on you. So
I know it's cool. It's funny to me, man.
But yeah, so but from what you've described with you possibly having COVID, that kind of explains a lot of what was happening.
Yeah, well, that obstacle specifically, because it was only the second obstacle, I had more energy for sure. I made it through the whole semifinals course. I should have made it farther. That one, if you watch like the slow-mo replay of that, I just didn't grab the bar. Like, I launched to the last one. I got one hand on, my other hand just missed. So I don't have an explanation for it besides my phone stopped there. Okay, just besides like my depth perception was just completely off, and I've never had anything like that happen. But that stuff happens, like flukes happen, and I just didn't see it properly. Like, I don't know. It was the weirdest thing. So when I fell, I actually wasn't upset because I was just confused. I was like, why didn't I grab it, kind of thing. So,
Hey, why didn't I grab it?
exactly. Like I just didn't grab a bar. My friends make fun of me all the time about it, which I think is hilarious. That like and I'm like not grab a bar that was only 4 feet away, which is for ninja that's a pretty short lache. Like I've been able to throw like 12 feet before, but I can't do one that's like right there. Just can't grab it.
For your friends are meanies.
How we keep each other accountable, man.
Yeah, I'm just joking. So yeah, the season was different for a lot of people for different reasons. But obviously for yourself, it had a different kind of, I guess, push behind it or meaning with you showing your family.
Yeah.
With cousin Bill. How obviously it's only 3 months later. How are the family doing?
So man, so we filmed in end of June, I believe. End of June is when we actually filmed it, but then it didn't air for a couple months later. Unfortunately, Bill passed away from cancer. But it was amazing to be able to go out there, represent him, share his story, and do all that. So what was a bummer was he actually passed away a week before that semifinals episode aired, and I was hoping that he would make it through to be able to watch it with his kids and everything. But so that was a bummer because he didn't even get to see it, which was a bummer. But yeah, it meant a lot. It was really cool that the production was so nice about allowing me to share, his story. And yeah, it was just a very special season for me because of what I got to do with that. So, but we're making it through, and I'm still trying to do my best to kind of just, spread awareness for that kind of stuff and spread, kindness and all that to represent him. So
I'd say for me, it was encouraging. In terms of my faith, I found it difficult the last year, and I'm a relatively healthy person. There's literally nothing wrong with me, and I make a big deal out of not being able to go out and see my friends and this sort of stuff. But then you've got people dealing with these sort of things, so that was an encouragement to me in terms of my faith, seeing you guys reading the word. Despite knowing what was happening and occurring, and I'm sure that would have been an encouragement to a lot of people. So thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah, no problem. I'm happy to. It was great because like he was like, I want you guys to film like a section of us like reading, the Bible and talking about it at least a little bit. And they did, like they put in some of the parts where he talked about it and showed a snippet of us like all together like reading and stuff because like that's important to me and that's who I am. So that was really cool.
Right. Have you got any verses that you find particularly encouraging when you are having a difficult time emotionally with something like that? Have you got something that springs to mind that gives you that encouragement? Is there anything specific?
I don't know about anything necessarily specific as far as like verses specifically, but I always try, my best in those moments to seek God through prayer, for sure. And that specifically, like that action is usually very comforting to me. And there's just been a lot of moments in my life where like, I know that I wouldn't be here without God and everything that he's done for me and my family and everything. So it definitely means a lot, just to have that connection,
I like Psalm 46. A few years ago, I had a bit of a mental breakdown, and I had biblical counselling to help me through it with a lovely lady from my church, and I read Psalm 46 every single day.
Wow.
And it was one of those things where even if I couldn't read anything else, even if I couldn't do anything else, I read that every single day. And there's actually it meant so much to me. It was so impactful. A year later, I did an internship at my church because I wanted to, serve God and to give back to the church that had done so much for me. And one of the tasks in the first year was to do a talk. in front of the whole staff team. There's about 20 people. And when it comes to talking in front of people, I really don't like doing it. I'm just like, no,
Oh yeah, I feel that.
no. Just put me in the back somewhere. Just put me
Yeah.
in the back somewhere. I'll do the slides. I'll do the words on the screen. That's what I'll do. But I ended up doing this whole talk in front of all these people, the elders of the church. You know,
Wow.
they're humble. They're just consider themselves to be people. But obviously, like when you come across authority in the church, you have that respect, that reverence for them. So I was a bit scared, but as soon as I got up there, you know, it was absolutely fine. It's on my YouTube page if you want to listen to it.
Oh heck yeah, I will. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just really wanted to ask you.
Sorry, dip it out of frame for a second. I got to plug in my phone because it's dying. I don't want it to cut out in the middle of it. Here we go.
It won't be too much longer, but yeah. You've broken your collarbone. I know that.
Yeah. What
are the other injuries that you've had in your ninja career from before? Like, is that the worst? Literally the worst thing that's ever happened?
That's the worst. Broke my collarbone on my salmon ladder in my backyard. Completely like backflipped and just like landed straight on my collarbone in my head, and had to go and make sure that I didn't have any like mental like brain damage. So that was fun, which I don't. So that's good.
Just me clutching my collarbone, just
yeah. So that was the worst thing that happened. That took me out for a couple months. But I've had things here and there. Like I've cut open like part of my like right by my eyebrow, and like
I see a little mark on your eyebrow.
That's actually not. This scar is just from being a clumsy child when I was a kid.
Oh.
But I have another mark. I don't think that's an actual scar from it because it healed pretty well. But like that, I think I have like 2 small scars on my arm from like doing an obstacle, and just like I clipped the edge of something and it just like sliced my arm open. So stuff like that. But that stuff usually doesn't keep me out very long. I had a bad ankle injury. I hurt my ankle, but I don't remember how I hurt my ankle. All I know is that one day it just kind of was irritated, so I must like twisted it and like not realize, and then I'd like train on it, and then it would just get worse and worse, and then it got so bad that I could like barely walk on it without just retwisting it or hurting it. So that took a couple of years to fully fix, because ankle injuries just take forever. It took like 2 years for it to be completely better, and that's like, you'll actually notice season 10 and 11, both those seasons, I'm wearing an ankle brace, right. And that's why. Yeah.
I'm a bit of a weirdo with injuries. I've never broken a bone, never even had a bruise.
Wow.
I'm a weirdo. Like, you can punch me in the face. Not that I'd want you to punch me in the face, get a bruise. But I just remember once riding my bike home, straight into a car, hit my head on the bonnet, went rolling over and landed on my head, and didn't have a single mark on my body.
Wow, that's crazy. I want that. Give that to me, please.
I wish.
I would like to be indestructible.
Kind of don't want to lose that, but
yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, I've watched some of your videos, and you've I know you could do the UNX competitions. Do you do any others in between?
UNX.
Yeah. Yes. I saw this one very strange obstacle where you're on like this foam roller with a couple of walking sticks, which were like really low to the ground, and you're sort of trying to get through this little mini sort of obstacle thing, going sideways and then the other way, and that must kill your back.
It sucked. It was just so slow, and it took up so much time, and the rest of the course is timed, so like getting through that was really tough. But yeah, UNX, I don't know what their status is because of COVID and everything. The leagues have kind of been on the down low. So I don't know if they're coming back. They might come back next year. I don't really know. I've taken a break from doing a lot of competitions outside of the show, because I used to do the NNL a lot, the National Ninja League, because that's a big league. I used to travel all around to do that. But I've taken a break from doing that for the past year or so, because I really like the show. I really like Ninja, and I can continue to train for it and be on the show and do that. But I have so many other things that I want to accomplish that I only have so much time. and money because it costs money to travel to all these places. So I'm trying to focus on some other things. So I'm getting back into acting, and I mean I'm making YouTube videos and doing stuff like that as well. But acting is a big one. I actually I went to a performance school out in Los Angeles after I finished high school. After I finished grade school, I went out there and went to a bunch of different acting classes and auditions and had like an acting manager and stuff. And I put a lot of that on hold to pursue ninja. So now I'm kind of trying to balance both of them, which takes up a lot of time. But
have you acted in anything before, apart from as yourself in your videos?
Right. I have, but nothing that you would have like seen. Nothing crazy, nothing big. Like not like a big TV show or movie. Like I've done like short films here and there. I did a commercial. And that's pretty much it. Like I've done a commercial and a couple short films. So it's a process. It's really just kind of getting involved, meeting people, and just kind of making the right connections and trying to be as part of as many things as I can, and kind of build that resume up for my acting and stuff.
I'm sure Jessie Graff's got a few connections too.
Yeah. She's been nice. I've asked her a couple questions because she does the stunts, and she's also getting into acting and all that. So
what do you want to do, like TV or like a big action movie or behind the scenes stunt work?
Right.
There's all sorts, I suppose, isn't there?
Oh yeah, I would love to do pretty much any and all of those. I just have a really big passion for storytelling. So I love creating something out of nothing, and especially with film. So like bringing a character to life and something that's going to affect. Like I go to watch movies or shows, and my favorites are always the ones that make me feel something. Like make me feel something, even if it's like anger or like sadness or joy. Like not that I want to go around and watch depressing movies all the time, but ones that like actually like hit home and action as well make me feel things. It just has to be has to be done well. So I love action movies. I'm a huge, as you know, superhero fan. Dream role would be to play Spider-Man, but I mean we've had so
I'm sure they'll reboot it. I mean, there's one more film with I know his name.
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland, yeah, I knew it was Tom. I wanted to say Hardy for some reason. That's could be a different guy, but there's definitely they'll probably reboot it again after that, but who knows? But that Spider-Man costume looks impressive.
Yeah, that's another big thing that I'm into is like I like doing cosplays and stuff and making like costumes and like props and stuff. So that suit I bought and had it like tailored to my body so it fits well. And then I painted, like I 3D painted with puff paint all the webbing. So I traced all the webbing on it. So it's raised and like shiny. Did the same thing with like the spider emblem. So it looks, really well. It just took a while to do that. I love doing that kind of stuff. I love superheroes. Obsessed with superheroes.
Do you go to cosplay like at the Comic Cons and stuff like that as well?
Yeah, I've been to a few of them, and I'm dying to go to more, but they're all canceled because of COVID. So just waiting for those to come back.
I went to one in March, and that was just literally 2 weeks before everything all kicked off, and half of the stars cancelled. But I got. Was it the first?
Was it the first con that you've been to?
No, I've been to loads.
Okay.
You
like cons?
I absolutely love them. Like, I go to see the Star Trek people.
Heck yeah. Do you cosplay?
I've wanted to, but I need to get out there. Like, I'd buy like a Starfleet costume or something like that. Nothing where I'd have to put makeup on. But some of the people, I was in the queue. There's one in Liverpool. Where I live in England, and just seeing up and down the queue the effort that people put in, it was really, really impressive.
Oh yeah, it's either really expensive or really time consuming. So I understand why not everybody can do it because it either costs a lot of money or a lot of time. And for me, because I don't have a ton of money, it's usually time. I usually make my own. Like I made a full. You have to scroll a little bit back on my Instagram to find it, but I made a full Iron Man suit from head to toe, and that took a long time.
My first Comic Con that I went to, I was so nervous. I specifically went there to meet. I don't know if you've seen Star Trek Voyager before.
I haven't. I have not seen it.
The lady who plays Captain Janeway, Kate Mulgrew, she was in Orange is the New Black too, and I couldn't speak. I was just Nice to meet you.
You sound like me at the end of my first course run.
But then after that, I'm like, hey, nice to meet you. Like, let me shake your hand, let me give you a hug. And,
right.
I'm a very huggy kind of person. But yeah, I absolutely love going to Comic Cons. I've got a whole 2 packs of autographs.
That's awesome.
In my chest. Only you're not allowed to touch them. Nobody's allowed to touch them. They're in special, little.
Dude, I feel that. Things. I'm the same way with that kind of stuff. If I ever make it across the seas, we will have to meet up and go to a con together. I'm so down.
I promise I will cosplay too.
Yes, if I find, like, because I want to do a lot more traveling stuff. Obviously, when all the COVID stuff wraps up. So if I find myself close to where you are, I'll let you know. And I'm only going to a con with you if you cosplay it. Deal. All right. Oh, I gotta keep talking. I can hear you. I just want to grab something.
Oh, great. Okay. So yeah. I was watching some of the videos of you training in your gym, and oh wow, I'm impressed.
Like these are all like handmade things that I've just made. Like this was for a when we went to the when I went to the Renaissance Festival, I made this, and this was the first thing I ever like handmade was this Captain America shield. Yeah. So, welcome to everybody who's joining in the live now, because now I'm nerding out. Now you've got me to like my nerd out phase. So
that is impressive. Cool. How did you make that out of?
So I found a circular sled, like just like for like snow, just like a sled, and it was like the exact. I found one that's like the exact same dimensions as the shield, and I'm like, this is perfect. So I just took the handles off the sled, filled in the little holes for where I unscrewed the handles, and then etched in the rings and painted it, and then added some actual like heavy duty straps to the back of it. So it took some time, but I'm proud of it.
that is dedication. But yeah, you're on with the con. The best ones are down in London. I've been to a few down there, but there's a big convention centre which has been a Nightingale hospital for COVID until recently. But yeah, they have a huge Comic Con there. I remember actually my first one before the one that I mentioned was I met a Star Trek actress, and I said to her in my nerves, you say stupid things when you're nervous, right?
Oh.
I said, "Oh, you look weird without your makeup on."
She was like, "Thanks."
and you don't say that to a lady at all. That is just so rude. I meant because she played a Klingon on TV, so she had the ridges on her forehead. That's what I meant. But obviously, I wasn't able to articulate that. And then I met another guy from Star Trek Voyager, and I said my name, and he sort of went, "What?" and then I had to spell it, and I could barely spell my own name out to people. Like,
so funny.
Now they get you to write it down.
Right.
But yeah, and I remember meeting Lena Headey, who plays Cersei Lannister on Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
And me being the clever person that I am, says, "Oh, I prefer you with Sarah Connor." she was like dead chill, dead friendly, and that.
Right.
But I could literally spend hours at those Comic Cons. Like the last one, I think I mean, because none of my friends will go with me. I don't know any Comic Conners. None of them like going to those things. So I was just literally walking around for 4 or 5 hours, just loving life.
Oh, it's great. Like I'll go even if I have to go alone. But luckily, I have a couple different groups of friends, but only a couple of them wouldn't go. Most of my friends are like, "Yeah, it's dope. Let's go." Like I have a bunch ninjas are big nerds, man. Ninjas love that stuff. Like almost every ninja I know will be like, "Yeah, let's go to Comic-Con." There's a group of ninjas that I'm trying to get. We're trying to get a Comic-Con group together, which would be freaking awesome. Like, have you seen Najee Richardson?
Yes.
Phoenix. Have you seen his post of him wearing his Spider-Man stuff?
I haven't. I've only just got onto his page recently. So
yeah, he just recently posted some stuff, and so I've been hitting him up, and I'm like, we're gonna get together and we're gonna do a photo shoot and film some stuff in our suits together and do so. We're a bunch of nerds.
You need to do a skit, where you're fighting against each other or something like that, and then you just go suit up and then put your Spider-Man suits on, and you just like.
That's the goal. Like I'm gonna travel out to where he is, and we're gonna make some content about it, and I'm really excited. I don't know when that's gonna happen. I haven't even talked to him about it yet, but I'm telling you guys right now, it's gonna happen. Make it happen.
Nerds, gosh. So yeah, I've enjoyed watching your videos at your gym. Anton makes me laugh. It's not because of his accent. It's just like explosive.
Oh man, Anton's hilarious. He's so straightforward, and he's like, yeah, we're gonna do a giant on a flywheel. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, let's just do it. I'm like, dude, do you know how ridiculous you sound? He's hilarious. He's an awesome guy, and he's got a YouTube channel that's like, he's got a big YouTube channel. He has like about like 80,000 subscribers on his, and so I was like, so he's like the dream of where I want to be at, like my YouTube channel, as far as like the content he comes out with is like top notch. Super cool guy.
See, I only just started doing this a few months ago, so I think I've got something like about 600 something followers, and that's
same.
That's just like nothing, but it's building like every day. Like I had this when we went into lockdown last year, I wasn't working, and I was just, there's so many things that I could do. I could learn how to knit, because apparently that's good for anxiety. But I never did. Oh, I could create some content. People mentioned you should do some baking videos or something like that. But I left it all the way until maybe August, where we had a 4-week break in the lockdown, so we could, eat out and go to restaurants and stuff like that, which was great. But then that caused a spike in cases, so maybe not so great. And I finally decided I'm going to do this. So then I started emailing people, and I contacted Dawn Robinson from En Vogue. And she agreed to do it.
Wow.
So that was my first one, first off, went in big. So now I've just gone on IMDb Pro and just contacted everyone's managers, and I'm actually you probably won't know this show, but it's Dynasty.
I've heard of it. I've heard of it for sure, but I haven't watched it. But it's a big show.
But it's the old one, not the one on the CW, the original.
I'm not sure. I haven't seen it, but it sounds familiar.
When you're too. I think you're probably too young for that. You're like 25 this year.
Yeah.
I'm 43 this year.
Gotcha.
So that's my kind of era. But yeah, so it's kind of building from there. So this is like my most exciting one yet. But then I've got Jeff Colby from Dynasty tomorrow. So
wow,
that's exciting for a different reason.
Only going up from here, man.
Yeah. So I binge watched every single episode of Ninja Warrior. It was so good, but it's changed a lot. Since obviously the start, the more sophisticated obstacles, like ninjas, designing their own obstacles and stuff like that. Have you got an idea for an obstacle? Obviously, if you have, don't share the full idea. No spoilers, but
I know everything that's going to be on next season, every obstacle. You guys ready? No, I don't. I know nothing. They don't tell us that kind of stuff. But as far as me, no, I'm not. It's not that I'm not creative. I feel like I'm not creative in that way. If I wanted to be, I probably could be. But when I think of ninja, I go in there and want to bless you. I'm just going to go in there, bless you. I'm just going to go in there and play around on some obstacles and try to get stronger. I've never really taken the time to be like, let's put together an obstacle. But I admire those people that can, because they create the most fun obstacles. Like I said, corkscrew, wing nut, all that kind of stuff. But no, sorry, at this point, I don't have anything. Bless you. You good there?
Nightmare. I'm betting you and Anton could cook up something between you.
Oh, probably, man. He probably has a lot of ideas. I mean, I'll get in on that. I'll try to help boost his creativity, and we'll come up with something.
So it's a bit of I won't mention it in specifics or anything like that, but obviously things have happened with Ninja recently, in the recent year, with certain, a person. How has that affected the Ninja community as a whole? Obviously, I don't want to. If you're not comfortable with saying anything, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, I don't mind talking about it. If anything, I think it's kind of important to talk about. Because a lot of ninjas, when this happened, they kind of made a post about it and talked about it, which I think is good. I think it's good that we get in front of the problem and make sure that people know that's not what we stand for. And I had planned on doing that. I was just kind of waiting to kind of see what unfolded and the results, and how because I knew the charges, I knew the accusations and all that, and I wanted to kind of figure out what the results were going to be. You know what I mean? After hearing kind of everything. But it's been tough. I think it was a big hit to the ninja community to know that somebody who was in such a high power, as in, you know, he had so many followers and people looking up to him, and that he took advantage of that. And just to kind of let everybody know that that's not, it's so the opposite. Like, one person does not define a group. And I think as a society, like nowadays, a lot people get confused with that a lot, in a lot of different ways. I mean, I know that we have got a lot of things going on in the world right now, but I think there's a lot of examples that people can see that one person does one thing and then people jump onto the fact that that represents whatever they stood for or whatever they were a part of. And that's not the case, especially with Ninja, because we are such a like welcoming community and supportive of each other, and just want to, you know, most of the people, we just want to do the right thing and support each other. And the way I kind of look at it is we still, you know, have to take responsibility as far as the fact of like doing what we can to make sure people know that that's not the case. But luckily, I will say luckily, you know, there hasn't been a lot of situations like this in Ninja. It's been over a decade, and this is the first. So if there's any positive, you know, that is a positive, that at least, you know, with such a sport that's growing so big, that this is the first. But that doesn't diminish that it was, you know, terrible to happen. Mm-hmm. That's kind of a lot of my thoughts as far as just letting people know that, you know, as a ninja myself, we don't condone it. We do not associate with that and with people that do those things. And as you can tell, the production doesn't either. They completely wrote him out of this season. Mm-hmm. So I'm proud of how the ninjas have kind of taken a stand together and make sure that people know that, like, we do care about people and we just want to do the right thing. And we know that because of the situation that have occurred, that it might take a little bit of time to get people back to the level of trust that they were at before, if that makes sense with ninjas, because it just leaves a bad taste in their mouth, and that's upsetting to the people. But I'm not going to say more upsetting to us, but at least just as upsetting, if not more, to the ninjas themselves, because it's like, man, it just seems to put such a stain on what we stand for. So yeah, so I think that kind of pretty much sums up the question you asked.
Thanks for sharing that. And also, I've seen a lot of ninjas wearing the ninjas. There's obviously the Ninjas for Black Lives. Yeah. And you yourself have actually been disheartened with, you had I'm not sure if it was Team Ninja Warrior, a picture of you in the paper next to some kind of Nazi thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that was just something crazy that I kind of wanted to, I made a video about and put on my YouTube channel just because it was so, it was something I never thought I would live through. I was like, this still exists? Like, this is insane. Which I think is a kind of interesting indicator for some of the other things that people think don't exist but do. You know, just people that don't always mean positive and good things for other people. And as a whole, I'm an optimist. I think as a majority, people are good. Like, I think that if as a majority we weren't, we wouldn't be here. Like, I think it's as a majority rule that humans are good. That's kind of why we have been able to live amongst each other and stay alive as a species for so long. But that doesn't mean there's not bad out there. And yeah, that was a couple of years ago in the small town that I lived in. They had a rally for like white supremacists that were basically considering themselves what seemed to be Nazis. And I was like, what is going on? And we went to the town, or I went to the downtown center where they were planning on meeting the next day. I went the day before. They were planning on going there the day after I got there. And people like were writing all over the sidewalk in chalk, just covered. And it was so cool to see, just covered like the sidewalk with positive messages and like love, not fear, like stuff like that. You know what I mean? And saying, you know, stuff like we only stand for like positivity, stuff like that. I was like, it's really cool to see the town like come together in a time like that. So that's why overall I do believe that people are positive. I think that people are overall nice and kind. Call that the optimist in me. or whatever you will, but that is what I believe.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Kevin Carbone has
Kevin
joined.
Carbone, we were just talking about you, Kevin.
We were talking about you
Mr.
a little while
Wingnuts
ago
himself.
with your crazy wing nuts. Keep them coming, but yeah, I'm a
He
big.
asked Kevin. He asked me if I had any obstacle ideas, and I don't. And I said, I'm sure you have plenty. So feel free to share it, everyone.
I'm trying to get Kevin Carbone to get an interview with him too. I've private messaged him on his Facebook page.
Calling you out, Kevin.
Read it, Kevin, on your actual page, not your personal page. But yeah. I think it was on his personal page actually. But yeah, read it. Yeah, it's really cool living here in Liverpool. We've had some far right groups. I won't name them, but who have tried to come to Liverpool to do demonstrations. But the people of Liverpool have gotten together, and every single time they come, they've driven them out. So it's so cool that people, behind fighting that. But obviously, America's a completely different situation with what's been going on the last 4 years. I won't mention the name, but I'm sure you know what I'm getting at. I don't used to be getting no hate from anybody in your inbox, but that's now almost over. Well, in 2 days.
Yep.
I believe so. And see the events of what's happened in the Capitol and seeing the Confederate flag in the Capitol for the first time in history it's sad to see from this side, as nothing like that has happened here. Well, not.
Yeah.
I hope nothing like that does happen here, but imagine it's been a scary time for a lot of people. So hopefully in the next couple of days, hopefully everyone stays safe.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing, is making sure people stay safe. Like you said, the next couple. It's very interesting to hear from like someone else's perspective, of someone who doesn't live, in this country, just to see kind of what it looks like from the outside looking in. So yeah, I appreciate that. Anything you have to say on that, just because I'm curious. I know kind of how it is, at least from my perspective, of like how there's just so many things now that just like things are just getting out of hand, regardless of like what side. It's like so much is just getting out of hand. It's like, I think we just need to all calm down and start from a place of respect and loving each other, and like figure things out, because we haven't been doing that. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning of his 4 years, admittedly, I might have trolled him a little bit. I'll be completely honest. I don't do that because it's not nice. I don't do that anymore anyway. But then I kind of realised this. I'm looking from here. I have no experience of this person apart from watching him on a TV show.
Right.
So how bad can it be having him as a president? How is just a man? What kind of problems can he cause? But obviously, I'm not living in it. So I see how people react on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all that sort of stuff, and I'm just like, why are you talking like that? That is just why, but I don't live in that, so I don't know. So,
Right.
so I could only observe. So I can only imagine what it's been like for you people. But obviously, I'll be praying we pray for your country. I think it's important to pray for our leaders.
Yeah.
So praying that Biden and Harris, I don't know them. I don't know their policies. So I haven't looked that up, but.
Right.
Praying they're the best thing for your country.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I hope so too. I'll put it this way: I'm ready for a change, just as far as like, especially this latest thing that happened at the Capitol. It's just like, how do you get to a point where, I don't know, it just sucks that we can't respect what's happening, the outcomes and all that kind of stuff, and that we have to go to this place of like endangering other people to express that. Like, people can have their own opinions, but like I said, things are just getting taken way too far. And then to have Trump say basically kind of what he tweeted out, and basically showing support for the people that were doing that, rioting and such. It just, from my understanding, from my knowledge, I'm not, because at the end of the day too, people come on and they talk about their views of what's going on in the world, and no one knows everything. So I'm not going to come on here and pretend like I know everything, because I don't. And I think it's very good to kind of make upfront and honest at the start. Like, I don't know everything. Regardless of how much you do know, it's like, I'm not going to claim I know everything that's going on and what is the best thing in every situation. But it seems very apparent that he was kind of encouraging this, and that's very disheartening. Like it, and I haven't seen a lot of people say otherwise, say like, no, he wasn't. And I've just kind of seen people either stay silent or say that he did. And from what I've seen, it seemed that way. And I think just for that and many other reasons that we don't have to go like too deep into, but I'm ready for a change.
Now, we have two political parties in our country, Conservative and Labour. I've been Labour all my life. They typically represent the working class. So I've always voted for them. But I voted for the other side in the last election, and I got cussed out. That just basically means I was purely because, and I was just like, I just want to get Brexit done. That's just got to get it done. But I have a friend that's a staunch Conservative. I have people who absolutely love Trump. They're in this country. They live in this country. They don't live in America. And at the end of the day, you can believe what you want to believe. It doesn't mean that we can't be friends. It doesn't mean that I can't love you as my brother or sister. So I don't care what you believe. I can separate that. I support hardcore Trump-loving Republicans who are some of my favorite actors. That their political beliefs don't bother me. So if we lived, the ideal world would be if we just loved each other, if we just respected each other despite what our differing beliefs were. But obviously we don't live in that kind of world overall. So, but it's something to pray for, and God can do amazing things.
Yeah, that's what always bothers me is like the way that, and I guess it's similar in your country. I don't know because I don't have that experience, but from what you just said, is there's a lot of hate being thrown. Let's take the scenarios of like specifically what's happening right now out of it. Is I hate politics, and I don't like talking about it a lot just because of the fact that people get so frustrated and so up in arms when someone's on the quote other side. And I hate that it's been treated like a sport. Like you have to, at least especially here in America, American football is a huge thing that like, if you have a loyalty to this team, like you're supporting that team no matter what, which is great when it comes to sports. It's fun. It's cool. I get it. But you can't treat politics like that. Like this isn't like, you don't just go like pick like Republican or Democratic and then pick your side, and then no matter what happens you stick to it. It's like if somebody running in that party has beliefs that you don't necessarily agree with, but the other one that you would consider the other side you agree with this time, vote for them. That's why like I don't pick a side. I will, like, if I'm going to vote, I want to vote for somebody who I agree with what their policies are and what they stand for and who they are and what they want to bring to the people and to the country and stuff. I could care less about left or right, or you know what I mean, like all that kind of stuff. Because at the end of the day, it's like I hate when people just go, well, I gotta stick with this because they're Republican. It's like you don't, you don't have to, right? Like if you don't agree with it, you don't have to. And they get so caught up in that mentality. I'm not saying that's everybody. I don't know everything. I'm not trying to accuse everyone or of doing that, but I see that a lot, and that's what's so disheartening to me. Yeah. Because then that is the roadblock of where we should be, the roadblock of exactly what you said, of coming together, hearing people out, and loving each other, and coming from a base of that standpoint. And if there's somebody who their standpoint is running for office, and their standpoint is they're not grounded in that ideal, which is actually trying to help people and do what's best for people, then there's an issue.
Absolutely. So to just we're coming to the end. We might could chat for hours, but 9:30 in the evening here. So
is it already? Man, that was quick. Okay.
here it is. I mean, it's like an hour and a half, but what my thing is talking. That's what I'm good at.
No, so I know, but I didn't even know. I haven't looked at a clock since we started, so like I didn't know it's been an hour and a half.
Well, that's a good sign then. You didn't look at the clock. So when going back to Ninja, is there an obstacle that you've been in it for 4 years now? Is there an obstacle that you look at and you think, crap, or not, or not, or are you just like cool?
Vertical limit. That hasn't been on the show yet, so that's not really fair. So that's really hard to answer because you ask that as in like I would know what that obstacle is, because usually that happens when it's a new obstacle, so I can't really answer it. Because I'll usually look at it because again, every year there's new obstacles. They want to make it new and different, and that's the whole point, is to adjust to the new obstacles. So usually if I have that feeling, it's like a new obstacle because I'm like, oh crap, that looks tough. What am I going to do? And I have to figure it out and break it down before I actually attack it. So it's hard to kind of say because if it's an obstacle that repeats itself and is on every year, like the warped wall and the salmon ladder are always on like every year, I should have trained enough to not think, oh crap. It's like, dude, you know the salmon ladder is going to be there every year. Train it. Don't get to it and go, oh crap. So that's tough. Maybe I'm trying to think of some of the obstacles that are like maybe like stage 3 or 4 obstacles. So I know that they're there, but I don't
I
get
saw
a chance
Najee,
to touch them very much.
Najee Richardson, he's like hardcore. He was still going for it. Even he was like in the middle of having an asthma attack practically in the underwater. I guess when you get to that, hopefully next year, this year I suppose, may still be the same. But that to me is like one of the hardest obstacles when you have to go underneath the water and
that was so much fun. I love that obstacle. It's so different. We've never done an underwater obstacle before because it's always avoid the water. If you fall in the water, you're out. It was cool. I don't think it was the hardest. It was like a brute strength sort of obstacle. I thought it was a lot of fun. As far as tough obstacles, even though I just kind of gave this as an example, salmon ladder is not necessarily tough, but a salmon ladder is an obstacle that like anything can go wrong pretty easily. Like you miss one rung, or if you hit it too hard, it can bounce out. I've had some issues with the salmon ladder in stage 2 one year. They fast forwarded my run, so you didn't see it in full detail, so it didn't show this. But I tried to move up, and I only got one side. So when I went to fix it and put the other side up, the other side came down. Because I came out, and I came out again to try to fix it, and it dropped down. I literally did this crisscross motion about 5 times before I started moving up. And it just got to me, like, mentally.
I can't remember what it's called, the Big Dipper one, when you kind of go down and then you have.
Okay, I take back everything. I take back everything else I said. That obstacle. Every time I get to that, that obstacle. When you get to there, I kind of always go, "Oh crap," because that is one that you just have to ride and hope that, like, you get to the next part. Like you can't control much of that obstacle. I think that's the scary part. Is you don't have a lot of control over it. A lot of other obstacles you can control. But that obstacle, the biggest issue I have is I'll go too far. I've taken the bar off it before, and I've been lucky enough to land it back on the track.
Wow.
But if you take it off and it shifts a little bit to the left, like you're out. That one's scary because it's so finicky. So yes, that would be the answer to your question. I didn't even think of that obstacle, but that is the answer.
We have a ninja gym in Liverpool.
Oh, do you?
I just found that out yesterday. When I was looking into it, so I'm gonna try and get, as soon as these places open, like I've been wanting to join the gym for ages to get back my fitness. But yeah, they've been open, close. But yeah, there's a ninja gym here, and they actually run ninja competitions. It's a completely different sort of culture to the American side. Because the American side is very kind of community based,
right?
You know, and it's a movement in and of itself.
Right.
But in England, we have a show on one of the major networks. It's just called Ninja Warrior UK. It's pretty much the same as the American one, but it's more of contestants on a show.
Right.
But there are some super. I think there have been 1 or 2 British ninjas on the team shows, I believe. But it's a completely different culture here. But yeah, I might try that out one day.
Please do. I'm expecting to see some videos.
Try and get into it. I can build my strength up. I'm gonna try and work as hard as I can. I've saved your food video, food prep video.
Yeah.
I was checking it out. You actually made healthy food look interesting. That's always something that I struggled with.
It's still hard for me. I did that also for a reminder to myself as well, because it's still tough, but I like food, so got to figure out how to make it healthy.
Do you ever have like in the middle of training, like, oh, I fancy a cheeky Domino's?
I don't know about the middle of training, but like not while I'm training, but in the middle of my like season of training, I'll be done and be like, yeah, let's just go grab pizza now. I do that all the time. I do not eat okay. I'm doing better now, but I don't eat like super, super, super healthy all the time. And I have a very fast metabolism, so like I can eat like things, and then I'll be fine.
Lucky.
So I might look fine and muscle might be fine, but I feel like garbage on the inside after I eat it. That's the bad thing. Like I still feel like garbage.
No, I look like garbage and I feel like garbage. But from
I disagree with that.
The neck down, you know, I ain't gonna show you. I feel like Mr. Blob. I feel like Mr. Blobby. You'll have to look that up. But yeah, I've got a slow metabolism. I can eat and eat and eat, and I could put on. I remember putting on 9 pounds in a week just because I ate loads of cereal.
Wow.
But yeah, I can.
It's going to catch up to me. One of these days, it'll catch up to me, and I will not be able to eat like that anymore. It'll be bad.
I can pack the muscle on. I've got really strong legs and stuff, but it takes me ages to lose weight. I just have to comment on this year's competition. There's been a lot of criticism. It's not the same. I didn't like it and all that sort of stuff. I really liked it. I thought it was probably the hardest it's ever been, because obviously there's less, you know, places each stage. So I think it was the best, one of the best years for a few years actually. I think it's important. Obviously, it was a product of the circumstances that we're in, but I thought it was great.
Yeah.
You know, so much more, you know, edge of your seat kind of, you know, thing. I don't know what you know your thoughts on that, or if you want it to go back to the old ways. It's probably going to be the same this year as well, I imagine.
So, well, I'm glad that you liked it, because I've heard a lot of that as well. People saying I liked it, it was different. But I'm like, what do you see, either that or nothing, because they couldn't make the other thing work that last minute, especially with everything going on. So I liked it because it was different. Like, it's been the same thing for 11 years. So it's like, it's nice to finally have something different. And I will say I like the original format better, but as far as like having something new this year, I thought it was cool and exciting. I wasn't upset about it. I like it as far as like, I wanted to go back to that for sure, but I'm not upset that there was something different. It's like, for example, Ninja versus Ninja was different, and it's exciting to do something different after doing so much of the same. So I really liked it. I agree. I think it's harder to move on in that setup because less spots, you have like the best of the best, and less spots to move on. So you have to really be on top of your game. So very different. I'm excited to get it back to, now that it's been a year since I've done 2 years technically, since we wait a year regularly. So 2 years since we've done the original kind of format. I'm excited to get back to that for sure. And I have heard they have assured that it's going to be back to the original format this year. But they did say, depending on what happens, that could always change, but they're trying to make it happen like normal. So I don't know. It could change, but as far as I know, it's supposed to be back to the regular format.
So to finish off, proper finish off, because I've said that about that's my third time saying that actually. But regarding 2021, what are your hopes for 2021? Not necessarily Ninja.
Yeah.
You know, what do you hope for this year? Just in general. Or is that a loaded question? That's like deep.
It is. So
what do I hope? Deep.
So let's answer one of those questions, or let's answer that one way, which is what I hope for 2020 as a whole, not just personally, is, I mean, obviously that we get past the whole COVID thing and people will, you know, we can start, like we said before, love each other and just make the world a better place. That sounds so cliche. I know. I get it. But that'd be nice. It would be nice.
Sound like Miss Atlanta. I want world peace.
Exactly.
I'm just messing with
obviously, the whole world peace thing might be a very long thing to ask for, which would be great. But as far as, because so many crazy things have happened recently, I'd like to at least recover from those. That'd be nice. But on a personal level, I'm kind of looking over here because I actually have a list of 2021 goals.
Oh, wow. Can you share any?
Yeah, I'm looking at them to see what are interesting enough to share. Some are like super interesting. Some are just kind of like small personal things that I want to do. The big things are like taking care of my physical and mental health, like well-being. Like recently, my anxiety and stress has been on a level it's never been before, and it affects me like more than it ever has. Like during day-to-day stuff, I'm like, what's going on? So, and I've just kind of pushed it off, and I don't like that. So, as far as like a human level, like I want to do that. That's a big goal for me. Just making sure I'm, working out more consistently, because even when I'm training, sometimes I'll slack off here and there. I want to be very consistent. Big, goal on that 2021 board says win A and W. So that's obviously one.
Yeah.
And then I think the other biggest thing, because as far as ninja goes, that's the big goal. It's to, well, let me get into that in a second, but let me take a little side detour. Is the acting. I really want to get somewhere with acting. A lot of things have slowed down because of COVID as well, but there is still stuff happening. So it's really just being consistent in my pursuits, or else I'm not going to get anywhere. So a lot of small little goals here and there to make sure I'm consistent. But the last thing I want to leave you on is going back to Ninja Warrior. Yes, to win A and W, but a big goal is to continue to use my platform for good. That's why I wear the words Dream Chaser on the back of my shirt. And I don't wear the words The Dream Chaser on the back of my shirt, which I did one season. And I was like, I don't like the, because it's like when you're the Dream Chaser, it's more about the title. Like you are the Dream Chaser or the whatever this person is. It's more of a title for that person. Whereas I just want to wear the words Dream Chaser because I don't want it to be about me. I want it to be about creating, I want to create a movement of people who want to chase their dreams. So anybody that buys a Dream Chaser shirt, you don't even have to know that it's from Ninja Warrior. Like that's not the point. It's not about Ninja. You can buy that shirt and rep it no matter what you're doing, because I want people to wear that shirt and know that when they're wearing it, like they are somebody that is dedicated to pursuing their dreams, whatever it takes. And no matter what people say, that's kind of a big message. That's why I wear it on the back of my shirt, because this all started as a dream. Like me being 14 years old, wanting to be on American Ninja Warrior. It was like this huge dream. Did I believe it could happen? Yes, but it was still a lofty goal of mine. And the fact that I did it makes me believe that whatever I put my mind to, I could do, but I have to work hard for it. I can't get it in my head that just because I want it, I'm going to get it. I have to work hard for it. But it's worth chasing your dreams, not only because we should chase our dreams, because, I guess what I'm saying is, especially this last year with my cousin who passed away, is we owe it to ourselves to chase our dreams, because we never know when this life is going to be taken from us. And if you have the ability to try to do what you love, why wouldn't you? Like, you only got one shot on earth. You don't want to be on your deathbed and be like, wow, why didn't I at least try to do this thing that I really want to do? Why didn't I travel more? Why didn't I start that company I wanted to and actually live the life that you want to? So I know it's kind of a long explanation there, but that's kind of the whole purpose of the Dream Chaser on the back of the shirt thing, and creating not creating, because there's plenty of people that advocate for that, but helping be a part of that movement of people who want to chase their dreams. So
it's a great place to end, unless you got something you want to ask me.
When are we going to a Comic-Con? That's my question.
Hey, so pinky swear we're gonna do the Comic-Con
at some point when we can, when it's safe. Yes. My last question. I do have a question for you.
Oh,
pretty much the same question you asked me. What is your goals for this year, and like the stuff you want to do? And obviously what you're doing right now is one of them. That's why I was excited to talk to you, because you're like, I just started this thing and I've already got these people on here. I was like, dude, he's actually making moves. I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of this guy's life of making moves. Like, it's just encouraging.
Appreciate that so much. I think more of the same, not being so fearful. I grew up afraid. I was taught to be afraid of everything, people, not to like people, not to let people in. So my goal for this year is just to continue what I'm doing and not to look too far forward, because then if you look too far forward, you miss what's going on, you miss the moment that you're in. So that's one of my prayers for this year, is to enjoy the moment, not miss what God is doing, because we can look at the state of the world, and we can look at COVID, we can look at what we don't have and what we're missing. You know, I haven't hugged one of my friends in months. I haven't seen my mother for 14 months. So you could focus on things like that, which are very valid things to focus on, but to not focus so much on that, I miss what I'm doing in the moment. So at the moment, I'm enjoying what I'm doing here. I'm enjoying these interviews. I'm making friends with people that I've never met in person before, and that's cool. So yeah, just carry on doing that, and just not be so afraid. You know, even if I fall flat on my face, if I land on my ass in a puddle of crap, at least I've still done it. Probably more eloquent ways of saying that, but you know, that's just me.
And this is the cliche thing that people say about Ninja, but it's very true. Is that's kind of the core of Ninja Warrior too. Is like, you make one mistake, you fall, and that's it for like a year. It's like you fall, you fail, you're out, and you get soaking wet in front of millions of people. It's like, well, here's a physical representation of me soaking and drenched in failure, kind of thing. But that show has taught me so much about falling and then getting back up and continuing to actually pursue the things that you want, and not letting that like take you down. Because like I said before, like those first 2 years I did the same. Like I didn't feel like I progressed any, and if I let that actually like take hold, I wouldn't have done as well as I did the next year. And so it's taught me a lot, and it's bled over into my everyday life, you know, of things that come my way to pick myself back up and keep going.
One more goal is to meet some of these people that I've become friends with online. So I've got a friend in Colorado, and I know there are a lot of ninjas in Colorado. So hopefully, link up with a few there. We're going to hang out at a Comic-Con. We're definitely going to do that. I'd love to come to America to do a Comic-Con, actually, from watching Big Bang Theory. I know there's the San Diego Comic-Con, and places like that. I've got friends.
That's my dream. San Diego Comic-Con is my dream. It's like the biggest Comic-Con event in the country, and I've never been able to go. Apparently, it's really hard to get tickets there, but it'll happen one of these days.
I'll get my friends. My friends live in California, in Sacramento. And they're brilliant people, they're Christian missionaries, and they now live in Sacramento, so get them to hook me up. Or there's London, but yeah, we'll do that. But just to get off my backside and actually meet some of these people. I've got a friend in New York who was on Project Runway. Dawn Robinson, who lives in Vegas.
Basically, you know everybody.
Yeah, there are lots and lots of people. But yeah, that will be my dream for when this craziness happens, is to hang out, experience the ninja world. You know, from a ninja's point of view, just to hang out and do all these crazy things. You know that Jake Murray does, like go into an alligator farm, things like that. Just test. I want to try and test my limits this year. Oh yeah,
heck yeah, man, that sounds awesome. Well, I'm excited. Whenever that happens, might be a couple years, but I'll try to make my way out there.
Great. Well, it's nice to meet you. I appreciate you coming on board, and wish you best of luck for 2021.
Heck yeah, I appreciate it, man.
I'll give you the classic Vulcan goodbye.
Heck yeah.
Live long and prosper. That's so. See, I'm a geek too.
I love it, dude. I love it. Keep me updated with all the stuff you're doing, man. I'm excited to hear from you.
Thanks, man. You have a good day.
See ya.